Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important segment. Get this segment viral. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is something that nobody's really talking about, and it gives you a picture. It gives you the landscape, our political landscape. President Trump lost $2 billion as president. What is Trump's net worth now? Former president's net worth has hovered around $2.5 billion since last year, according to Forbes. Former President Donald Trump's net worth has been hovering around $2.5 billion since last year, according to Forbes' estimate, down from an estimated $4.5 billion when he announced his candidacy in 2015. Now, Biden, Clinton, Democrats in general, it's very lucrative. Government is very lucrative for them. They make a great deal of money. Okay? According to, and I explained this, according to a Town and Country article, Biden's net financial worth was what? As recently as November 2009, Joe Biden's net worth was less than $30,000, according to CBS. Now he has about $9 million. Gee, how did that happen? According to this Town and Country article, it's for speaking engagements and books. Have you heard him speak lately? Anyway, the big story is Trump's post-election cash grab floods funds to new PAC. The Trump operation raised $207.5 million in just the past couple of months, including a hefty chunk to a new leadership PAC Trump formed in November. He lost $2 billion. He was able to gain more money in a super PAC than any Republican, because there are Republicans out to get him. You know, they're starting like their own PACs. They're not even close. They're not even in the same ballpark. To the dismay of MSNBC, you have anchors, the people are so upset that this new Republican Party is populist. I mean, we've managed to crush and annihilate and obliterate the populists in the Democratic Party with the help of Bernie Sanders and AOC. But, gee, the Republicans, I mean, they're anti-interventionist, anti-regime change populists. They're such bad people. They want to prevent never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts that lead to the loss of life in the realm of hundreds of thousands throughout the globe, inadvertently. Like when President Obama said, gosh, it was Libya was my worst mistake. That was just a mistake. Oh, goodness. Hit subscribe right this second. Not many people are talking about President Obama's worst mistake. Gosh, hit subscribe. Let's get to 200,000 subs and beyond. But this is an interesting topic nobody's talking about. They're trying to get Trump, remove Trump from the Republican Party, but he controls the Republican Party. He runs the Republican Party. It's a populist political party now that is against the Lincoln Project, opposes the Lincoln Project. If you vote alongside the Lincoln Project, the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld neoconservatives, you're not the moral individual you think you are. And that's a whole other story. But it's President Trump that runs that controls the future, the fate of the GOP. In 2022, you're going to get Trump Republicans who win the primaries. You'll get the House as a Republican House, but a Trump Republican House. They'll impeach Biden immediately because his son Caligula has endless stream of incriminating emails that were so detrimental to Biden that Twitter had to suspend the New York Post's Twitter account under the bogus premise that the emails were hacked by Putin. Anything, they stub their toe, Putin! The fender bender, anything that happens bad, Putin's fault. Okay? Democrats get caught with their pants down, literally Putin's fault. MSNBC host makes bigoted, horrible statements. Oh, the Russians hacked her website. Okay. They'll blame Russia for anything, thinking that people will believe their nonsense. Anyone who has a functioning brain cell knows that if you blame Russia all the time, you're doing so, you're utilizing them as a scapegoat. For the rest of the electorate, the Democratic Party, people who vote Democrat, they'll believe anything, as long as it bolsters their existing biases. So they'll go into a well of Cold War sentiment. It's the Russians with their Facebook ads. Yeah, and you know what? They hacked the DNC to force Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign for how she treated Bernie Sanders. And they're doing it again with Biden's emails. You know, it's a big plot, even though the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper's old job, John Radcliffe, stated, yeah, that's not true. There's nothing to do with it. He just left a laptop. It's Caligula we're talking about. He left a laptop at a computer repair store. But anyway, how is Trump able to dominate in terms of his super PAC, dominate in terms of $207 million when his business is he actually being president was a losing proposition in terms of money making. So when Democrats say, oh, well, he enriched himself, Supreme Court threw out the emoluments clause. No, he didn't. He lost $2 billion according to Forbes. He didn't need donor like a Clinton Foundation. He didn't need a charitable foundation to enrich himself. They focus on the issues he's had with his charitable foundation, and it's nothing compared to $10 billion raised for the people of Haiti. Where did that money go? I mean, could you talk about supremacy and then you leave out Libya and Haiti? I mean, how does that work? Well, it's the mind of liberals, good morally superior liberals. They omit the most glaring and catastrophic endeavors that they're a part of, and focus on anything negative about Trump and make that into this lifelong obsession. When you have the Clinton Foundation getting hundreds of millions and beneficial treatment taking place all the time for the donors, you have Biden going from less than 30,000 according to one estimate to now $9 million in financial net worth. Well, how did that happen? It almost certainly wasn't from speaking engagements and book deals. But the issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that President Trump is he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of politics. He gets stronger the more they go after him. Think of what he has to deal with, and think of the Republican Party eventually becoming completely pro-Trump and an actual opposition political party that stands for, that opposes the Lincoln Project and Democratic Party foreign policy, and does other good things too. But President Trump has had to deal with every conceivable disadvantage. Democrats have had the benefit of every conceivable advantage. Democrats have pretty much all of political media. There's in 2000, Peter Jennings or David Brinkley or Ted Koppel or Tom Brokaw, they didn't care who won. They didn't care whether it was Gore or Bush. They didn't care. They had no side. They didn't have a team they were rooting for. Okay? The outcome of the election had nothing to do with them. Okay? They were simply umpires calling balls and strikes. They didn't care. Now you have MSNBC, CNN, and even CBS, ABC, NBC, especially NBC. They're not only cheerleaders for the Democratic Party, but every single possible spin is regurgitated without any pushback. Trump worked with Russia. He incited people. He said both sides, even though none of that is true. None of that is true. Even in the C-SPAN, he said, I'm not referring to 1930s and 1940s Germans. He says that in the actual quote, but people don't look at his actual quotes. He used the word peaceful a couple weeks back. The protests should never have happened. That was a horrendous tragedy. The loss of life is the main thing. Those 5 people should be alive today. But think of, you have all of political media against you. Democrats have MSNBC, CNN, The Washington Post, The New York Times, Esquire, Vanity Fair, The Atlantic. I mean, there's complete fake news. Oh, yeah, Trump disparaged fallen Americans based on what? Well, it was called journalism. It's called an anonymous source The Atlantic publishes, and Kamala Harris and Biden tried to use that during the debates. That fell flat. Nobody cared because people knew it was almost certainly fabricated. Actually, it was certainly fabricated. That doesn't sound like Trump. If you want to say, well, look what he said about McCain. Well, look what one of the Daily Beast contributors said about did to Max Cleland, Vietnam veteran. The Lincoln Project people went after, in the most despicable and dishonorable manner, shameful manner, a Vietnam veteran, a Vietnam hero, Senator Max Cleland, Georgia senator. This was in the early 2000s when he opposed the Lincoln Project and Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld going into Iraq and their foreign policy. He was a courageous voice opposing them. Okay? They went after a Vietnam veteran. So, President Trump, you can say what you like about him. He's not the type of person to make that remark. You see how, he goes overboard in certain tweets, but he's not like you can tell he loves the country. Trump loves this country. He lost $2 billion serving as president. Okay, it's not a money-making endeavor for him. And you can read or see how he feels about the country, the flag, everything. So it's not, Trump loves the country and he loves people. He respects and admires the people who make the ultimate sacrifice. So it's the Democrats who, we'll just keep it at that. They have people within their little world that went after Max Cleland, a triple amputee Vietnam veteran. Okay? They go after Tulsi Gabbard. They go after Michael Flynn. So it doesn't matter political party. Tulsi Gabbard's a veteran. Michael Flynn is a veteran. Okay? They go after veterans all the time, Democrats. And then they, clutch their pearls. Oh my God, how dare Trump? Look what he said. It's like, you made that up. There's no evidence. It's a baseless claim. But they cloak baseless claims in government it's a government investigation. Therefore, that makes it credible. Or it's journalism. It's called journalism. Well, that's what journalism has become today. Gossip, hearsay against Trump. If it's gossip and hearsay against Biden, oh my God almighty, suspend the New York Post account. But you have all of media against Trump. You have all of late night in Hollywood. You can't, SNL, everything is political. If Democrats don't politicize everything, then people start asking, hey, why doesn't AOC back Medicare for all? They have to politicize everything because they don't have any policies people really care about. Their policies are like, even the left is like, So they must politicize. Everything is politicized in this world. Every sports, you can't watch ESPN, you can't watch every single thing in media, from politics to sports to everything, is politicized against Trump. Now, Trump made missteps. He should never have insulted LeBron James. He should never have insulted NFL athletes. He should have created a national dialogue, discourse, debate. He fed into what Democrats and media wanted, two opposing sides, good, bad. And the division, President Trump shouldn't have fostered that division. Even though they were going after him and trying to set him up and frame him. I get all of that. I've been at the forefront of exposing all of that. But that division, it was no good. And it served the Democrats more than it served President Trump. There needed to be a dialogue and discourse on every issue. And unfortunately, there isn't, because you don't have a Republican Party, which gets me to the Republican Party. Why am I going on and on? Because he's still able to get $207 million in a couple of months, far more than anyone in the Republican Party or any PAC in the Democratic Party. You had corrupt intelligence officials setting up and framing Trump, utilizing a dossier that his direct political rival Clinton purchased. Those cards were stacked against, and they've always been stacked against President Trump, which In a way, one of the missteps was not understanding how the cards were stacked against him. Okay, that's a whole other story. But then you had the Republican Party, Jeff Sessions. I mean, think about the mentality. If somebody is telling you in a message board to trust Jeff Sessions, it is to deceive you. I have been saying that for 2 years. The person who helped start the Q nonsense, I debated. And I exposed how absurd and irrational and dangerous and nonsensical that hoax was 2 years ago. Watch the debate. It is a message board. It is not reality. Someone is on the other side of the message board manipulating people who believe the hilarious, sad, pathetic, and absurd and dangerous message board hoax. Someone is manipulating impressionable people. You ever wonder why Democrats don't want to find out who's on the other side? Haven't said it's a Russian disinformation campaign. They want to keep it going because it serves their interest, because it's so completely absurd and dangerous and bonkers. But anyway, you had Republicans against him. He went up against every disadvantage known to mankind in politics. Tech, the algorithms were always against Trump. And he still got $207 million. Why is that important? That's important because it's further confirmation the Republican Party is now controlled by President Trump, to the dismay of Democrats. Now, when you have Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Devin Nunes and Trump Republicans, populist conservatives, because you don't have populism on the left. I told people that the censorship and everything is going to obliterate the left. I've been saying this for months and months. I said, don't cheer. Don't be happy about Trump getting banned from Twitter, which is actually the best thing for President Trump. It's going to tank Twitter also. Because, like I said, they're going to go after the left. And you're seeing that it's horrendous what's taking place. I am against that. There are really good people suffering because of what's taking place. But there are good people, like wonderful people on the left. I don't have that mentality anymore. I don't have that ideology anymore. But still, they're really great human beings. And they're suffering now because the purge that took place with Trump is going against people to the left of the Democratic Party. See, Democrats don't like you if you're too far left. They don't like you if you like Trump. They like a nice, doughy, gushy middle. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. President Trump got $207 million for a super PAC, more than any other PAC in the past couple of months, obliterates any Republican PAC. The Lincoln Project's on the ropes now because they have skeletons. They have more skeletons than a graveyard. Actually, unfortunately, I don't even want to get into it, but their policies, what they've advocated, has led to the loss of countless lives around the world. So if you want to correlate words with, tragedy and atrocity, go look at what the Lincoln Project people pushed for the past 20 years. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Answer the question. How is President Trump able to circumvent all of these disadvantages or overcome all of these disadvantages? And he still needs to address the missteps. There have been missteps the past couple of years. But if he's able to do that, the sky's the limit. People, the sky's the limit. There's no stopping Trump for the next 4 years. And Republicans, if they actually become an opposition political party, Democrats and media won't get away with everything they're getting away with now. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you.